everybody. It is Saturday Night Live. Kitty's in first. Good evening, Kitty. How are you this Saturday night? Kristen's in second. Good to have you here, Kristen. How are you? Tell me all about your Saturday. Kath is here. Hey. You're all hopping on quick this Saturday night. Well, I guess I'm more ish than 8. That sort of helps with that. Tonight. More ish than 8 tonight. Hey, Joanne, happy belated birthday. I hope you had an awesome day. The Linda light is on, people. Flip that light. Linda is here. Yeah, we had a good sales day today, too. We were busy. It's funny, you know, today is Stick It to the Man weekend in Massachusetts. Stick it to the man. Hey, Adele and Dazzle. So it's tax-free weekend in Massachusetts. Clothing in our realm with what we sell is almost always tax-free anyways. Like, we don't have anything that's taxable in clothing, and that's what we sold the heck out of today. Hey, Nancy's with us. Good to have you with us, Nancy. It's all good, Joanne. I'm glad you're here. Hey, congratulations, Kristen. Happy anniversary. 1 year. 1 year. And what a year it was. Congratulations. Congratulations. Hey, Joanne, it's just 1 day. Don't lose sleep over that. That's nothing to lose sleep over. Sorry that it was slow today, but tomorrow's another day. Julie Jankowitz, great to have you with us. Great to have you with us. It is good to have you here. And quite honestly, Joanne, overall, weekends have been slower for us post-pandemic than normal days, than other days of the week. So, I mean, weekends have been slower, weekdays have been busy. There's no rhyme or reason to pandemic selling. Yes, that is super exciting, Kristen. Whoop whoop is right. You know, you have bucked the trend. You've survived your first year, and a lot of shops never make it to that. And you did it during a pandemic. That's awesome, Kristen. Yeah, isn't tax-free weekend great, Nancy? I mean, it is, you know, it's about sticking it to the man. I mean, it's totally about sticking it to the man. And because nobody would show up for a 6.25% off sale. Oh, I'm having a sale, 6.25%. You get 6.25%. You get 6.25%. Nobody would show up for that. Okay, but you say you're sticking it to the government, and they come out of the woodwork for it. Yes, they do, and that is a wonderful thing. So happy to see that. It's also been strong online today. We've had a good amount online today as well. So happy for that. Although I was surprised at Shopify for how advanced Shopify is. I had to manually handle the tax for tax-free weekend, and I'm not. I like Shopify. There's a lot of great things to it and everything else, but that caught me off guard. So I am good with that. So that is a great way to start this Self-Care Sunday Eve, and we get another day of it tomorrow, Nancy. So another day here in Massachusetts. One more day of tax-free here in Massachusetts. One more day of sticking it to the man. I'd like to get a Charlie Baker, our governor, cutout. Maybe I will for next year. You're sticking it to him. I want to say that, you know, to him. And I've got several shots of me with him. Maybe I'll see if Cassandra will post one of them tomorrow. I don't know if I have one where I'm doing this to him, but you know, I'll have to see if I have a picture of me and him that is that would be good for that. Or maybe I can get it photoshopped so I can be like, "You're sticking it to him. Show up today." It's about sticking it to the man. It's now actually, the Retail Association of Massachusetts fought long and hard with it, and we got it it was a thing they had to vote on every year. Every year. It was a fight every year since they started it. And quite honestly, I was never really big on it because, to an extent, it's taking dollars from another time. Okay, you could argue that you're taking, and especially during a pandemic where dollars are tighter, you could argue that you're really stealing dollars from another time. But the psychological effect of it is huge. The fact that we're selling clothing that like crazy, okay, which is tax-free all the time in Massachusetts, okay, or tax-free under 150 or 170, any single item under 150 or under 175, it's a threshold like that, which is 99.9% of the items we sell in clothing is tax-free all the time. I've always argued, but it's just the psychological effect gets people shopping. You know, oops, hang on a second. Am I back? Is my sound back or did I lose it? Hang on, I think it was me. Oh, my battery's dying. Hang on one second. Hang on, I gotta find. Okay, I think we're back. I put new batteries in. Does that get me back in the? Am I back in the game here? Tell me yes or no. Give me thumbs up, thumbs down. Am I good or? Because I've read really good. I was saying really good stuff there. Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up. Okay, we recovered. How's that for my peanut gallery and my tech team getting me back on? Who knew you needed batteries? So I was talking about economic activity. Okay, so in the state of Massachusetts, for the state of Massachusetts to lose anywhere from $24 to $40 million this weekend, you're talking about economic activity in taxable businesses, okay, of around $400 million this weekend. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's extra people that stores had in to process orders. Okay, and then there's all the ancillary economic activity from it. Okay, people are out shopping because they're sticking it to the man. Okay, and then they go out to lunch or out to dinner, um, and things. And just because they're feeling good, they buy more cars this weekend and other things. So there's just a lot of good. Okay, you feel good about the economy even in not a great economic time when you're sticking it to the man. There are people that travel from other states. I mean, it's really kind of funny because I know I've consulted with stores in border areas, okay, of the state. And so, like up on the New Hampshire, Massachusetts border, they'll have people come from Maine, okay, to shop in Massachusetts just to stick it to the man. And the really funny thing with that, okay, the really funny thing with that economic activity, okay, is that the people traveling from Maine drive through New Hampshire, which is tax-free 365 days a year, okay, to get to Massachusetts to stick it to the man, okay? It is all about that psychology, okay? And when you look at that, and when you look at what it does for the overall economy, it is a good thing, okay? It really is a net positive. So, and in these times, we need it more and more. I'll tell you straight up, I mean, so if the governor's watching the replay of this, because he's not a member of NARTS, but if the governor tunes in, I will say that I was disappointed. The governor did a tour promoting it this week. He went out promoting that, and they're starting a Buy in Massachusetts campaign now through the end of the year to promote shopping local, which is great. But he did it at a bike shop, and I was disappointed in that. And I was disappointed in that because the bike shops were open all during the pandemic because they were an essential service. And so I was a little disappointed in his choice of media outlet, of where he chose to stand. But the fact that he's getting the message out there that him and the lieutenant governor are out there promoting Buy in Massachusetts, and buy local, okay, and spend like your Main Street depends on it. I mean, one of the messages that I have been very, very clear about is to our elected officials is you will drive by, on your way to work today, you drove by a business that will not have its lights on when you drive home tonight, okay? So as an elected official, you are driving by something today with its lights on when you went to work that will not have its lights on when you come home and will not have them on again tomorrow. And that's happening in main streets across America. And I am sickened by it. It's terribly painful. But that is what we need to be working on as a country, as a community, and as our elected officials need to be working on that. So keep the lights on. And as a side note, in case I haven't said it already, in one of the episodes, one of the other upcoming concerns, and I don't know that I directly have worked with anybody that's got this level of concern, but the electric company, as we talk about lights, they're resuming shutoffs and collection activities starting in September. So a lot of across much of the country, which had been suspended because of the pandemic, they're resuming those in September. They're trying, in my assessment, okay, this is my Neil's assessment of it, okay, this is not what they're saying. My assessment is they're trying to get a bunch of people off the books, businesses and homeowners and renters off the books for bad electric or bad gas payments before winter, before their normal winter hiatus of collection activity is normally suspended. So while they have a little bit of room in the September-October timeframe. Their goal is to push through a bunch and off as much as they're trying to work with people. So just keep that in mind. If again, communication is key. If you're having any issues and you've let that bill lapse for any reason, communication is the key with that. With any bill, it's just the communication is the key to so many things. So, hey Jennifer, great to have you with us. So that is my stomping ground on that. That is about sticking it to the man, Neil's perspective on sales tax holidays. Oh, rates have been going through the roof. I mean, where I live in Connecticut, there's been a huge uproar about electric rates. They went up. I mean, literally, my electric bill at my house for both July and August was over $800 for July and August, which is just crazy. Just absolutely nuts. So they had said they were reversing it. It was like $15 less or something in August than it was in July. So big reversal there. And we even had many days where we had no power or we're on a generator. So it's like, again, what are they doing? But they've lost the public utility out of that and really gotten into shareholder value, which is a whole different discussion and not what I'm going to go on tonight. But I do have an interesting topic for you tonight, and because I'm going to keep it to two topics tonight. We're going to go two topics tonight. But we're going into the Good Morning, Good Night book is where we're going tonight. The Good Morning, Good Night book is where we go. Each and every night is how we start the program. Tonight I opened up to page 138. I am tongue-tied. Yeah, I was a little, Julie, crazy. That is a word that I used. And people right now are working. The real crazy part with the increase in electric rates and heating rates and everything else is and part of it is they're doing it to make up revenue that they're losing because all these office buildings are sitting dormant. And so that's part of their argument they have to make up. But all these homes are using more. People are working from home. That they're using more power during the day and everything else. I mean, I have the Lego office right here. Okay, so I mean, there's more power and other consumption happening at homes. I mean, that is not the reason why my electric bill is so high. But, so you have these things going on, and people just aren't equipped for it, and they're certainly not up to asking their employers. They're just thankful to have those that are employed are thankful to have that right now, and not going to ask their employers for a stipend for electricity or internet. Hey, Kelly! Although a few of the bigger companies are doing that. Great to have you here tonight, Kelly. So the Good Morning, Good Night book, we're on page 138 is what I opened to tonight. Good morning. Use your brains. Use your heart. Use your courage. And click those heels if you need to. Peace out. That's a good one. I like that. I don't know that we've read that one before. My memory could just be going, but I don't know that we've read that one before. All right. So, well, this is a good quote, too. I like this quote. Even the worst disasters can open the door to better things. That's pretty right on there. All right. We are on Self-Care Sunday Eve. Self-Care Sunday Eve, and for us, this has become a big cooking, baking day for Self-Care Sunday Eve. And this week we have our recipe of the week is sour cream snowball cake. Sour cream snowball cake. Ooh, it's got coconut in it. 2 cups of coconut. This sounds, oh, whoa. It does say to refrigerate for 24 hours before serving in the recipe, but our recipe provider, Krita, says they never wait that long. They chill for 2 to 4 hours is average for them. And it's a 2-layer cake. This sounds really good. It will be on Nart's private Facebook page within the hour. Sour cream snowball cake is the recipe of the week. I can't wait to hear what how you guys enjoy it. Hey, Kelly, isn't that a great way to start the day with cha-ching? That is a wonderful thing. I'm glad it started your day. It does make you smile when you wake up to that. That is an awesome way to start the day. Although I was picking on Shopify today because I was a little surprised. It's Ronnie's favorite? Awesome. Well, I like Ronnie. He's a great guy. So I am looking forward to this. In our household, we typically make a week behind. So we're typically running about a week behind on Self-Care Sunday recipes. So I'm not sure whether we'll get there this week with it or not. But I am looking forward to people making it. It sounds delish. And I'm down with that. And I know my ladies like, my peanut gallery likes coconut. So that's a good thing. But I was picking, Kelly, on Shopify a little bit before you were on because with the tax-free weekend in Massachusetts, I had to actually go in and delete tax. Shopify is not advanced for all the things that they deal with and all the advancements that are in it. They're not that advanced to already have the tax holiday program or to have a way to program the tax holiday that's happening in Massachusetts right now. I have to go in and delete the tax and then remember to add it back in on Monday. So it's kind of funny. So what did I want to talk about tonight? So my main topic tonight, and I was asked to talk about this a little bit, is Lord & Taylor. And why do I want to talk about a department store bankruptcy and a department store closing and America's oldest department store, almost 200 years old, I believe. 180, something like that, years old. I mean, it's crazy how old Lord & Taylor is. And why do I want to talk about that tonight? Because what's getting lost in the news cycle about Lord & Taylor is the story of so many businesses. It actually really is what I advise new store owners quite often when they're getting started, even before they open. It's one of the things I talk about with new store owners quite often, and it's the math. And so, you know, it's the death of the department store is the headline, okay? It's just another department store closing. It's nobody wants a department store, and that's just not true, okay? Kohl's is doing lots of great things in their format, which is a completely different format than Lord & Taylor. Smaller stores, a variety of other items online that they don't have in store, and they're doing quite well overall, as one example of a department store that is coming out of this quite okay. Lord & Taylor is in trouble because they didn't do the math. Okay, they got saddled with debt, and they didn't do the math on how many shirts they had to sell, how many products they had to sell, and at what price point they had to sell it at. Now this sounds pretty simple, okay? They just thought that their sales could cover this, and it's not the pandemic that killed Lord & Taylor. It's their irrational exuberance, okay, with the company that owned them, Le Tote. Le Tote owned them currently. The irrational exuberance of Le Tote that caused the decline in it, because they didn't do the math. When you look at the debt they took on to continue operating Lord & Taylor, they weren't doing the kind of sales. I mean, they had historic numbers. They knew what Lord & Taylor could output out of their stores. And they didn't have the inventory to do the sales. So they had a chicken and egg problem all the way through. Okay? They borrowed too much money in the purchase. Okay? The stores couldn't generate the kind of sales that they needed to. And they didn't even have the inventory that they would need to generate the kind of sales. So where am I going with that? Well, I mean, I'm going to what I teach new store owners. And what if I'm talking to you as a new store owner, it's really no different than you as an existing store owner, because many of you got into this business without doing this kind of math, okay, or thinking this through. And that's okay. You were following your passion, and then you woke up one day and realized you had a business, and you've operated it as such. And but I needed to talk about this because I was asked about it, and I was like, well, I really avoided the Lord & Taylor story because I didn't want it to just be another sad story of department store death, because there's more to it than that. So one of the things that I talk about with new store owners all the time, okay, I start with, okay, you know, one of the things is that they come to me with is, Neil, I have found the perfect location. Best ever. Best ever. Best ever location. Okay, and it's the greatest place, and it's just perfect and everything else. And I'm like, great. Love it. Have you done the math? 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 Who needs math? It's the perfect location. I'm going to do so well here. And I want you to do well. And I want you to succeed, and I want your dreams to come true. And this is about their dreams, not my dreams. And your dreams, not somebody else's dreams. So the next thing is, do you know how many shirts you need to sell, or whatever it is that your primary product is? It doesn't matter whether it's shirts, whether it's end tables, whether it's glassware. Whatever your product is, do you know how many of those you need to sell to pay the rent? Yeah, how many of these whatchamacallits, and it doesn't matter what the whatchamacallit is. You know I don't actually get excited about the individual merchandise. I just want to sell a lot of it. How many of these do you need to sell to pay the rent? And so you have to do that math. Okay, how many shirts do you need to sell? Okay, can you see yourself? The next question I have with that is how many shirts can you see yourself pricing that many? So if you need 1,000 shirts to sell this month, okay, in just the simplest form, can you see yourself pricing that many shirts? Actually pricing and attaching it, taking them in, pricing it, attaching a tag to it. Can you see yourself doing that? Because you are the employee when this all gets off the ground, okay? Day one, you are owner, janitor, tagger, pricer, receiver. You're everything. Can you see yourself doing that? Okay? And that's just to pay the rent. You have to take in 1,000 and sell 1,000, let's say, in my example, to pay the rent. 1,000 shirts. You going to do that? Okay? To sell 1,000 shirts, you need to take in more than 1,000 shirts. You're going to look at a lot more, but you need to sell more than that because we've covered that a little bit. Okay? In what your sell-through is. And then you actually have to sell them. Okay? At a specific price point to make a profit to pay the rent. And keep in mind, when we first opened nearly 23 years ago now, okay, my first goal was just pay the rent. I'm like, you know, we opened in a small storefront, okay, very modest, and I'm just like, all I hope is somebody shows up and buys something so we have rent paid, okay? That's all I wanted to cover. Lord and Taylor, Latote, didn't do the math. If they did the math, they would have had more inventory. They would have said, okay, we need to bulk up these stores on inventory because to service this debt, we need more inventory to be able to make our debt payments. Okay, and we also need to be able to sell more of it. But we don't have enough inventory on hand, okay, to service the debt. And that's ultimately what did in Lord and Taylor. Okay, they had too much debt. They didn't have enough inventory to be, even if they sold a good sell-through on that. Let's say they sold 60%, okay, which is average with what's happening here in your stores, okay. They sold 60% of it. They didn't at full price, or just even 60% of it at all, okay, which is your sell-through on average from our previous homework assignment. That wouldn't be enough revenue to keep the lights on. So you have to look at that and say, how many of these do I need to sell? How much of it do I need to sell? And I know this isn't your primary wheelhouse. This isn't what got you into this business. One of the examples I use, again, true story. All the stories I tell are true just because I'm not that creative. I'm not good enough to make things up. I mean, even today, you know, we had, okay, I'll go out there on this. The dog was constipated, okay? The dog was constipated. Nobody believed me on it. I mean, they believed me, but they didn't believe me. I mean, our dog does not do rain, and it was raining today. And, you know, the dog was out there for like 10 minutes in the rain and really, really unhappy. And I'm like, oh, I gave it some Miralax. It's pharmacist's son here, just saying. And everything else. And Cassandra was telling Rebecca, no, he didn't. And Rebecca's like, oh, yeah, he gave the dog Miralax and everything. The dog isn't constipated anymore. There's evidence of that around the house, just saying. But all the stories I tell are true. I'm just not creative enough to make them up. So one of the stories I tell about this, and it just brings things relative, okay? And it becomes relative, is one time I was traveling a bunch. And I got a call from one of my landlords or an email from one of my landlords, and they said, hey, Neil, how are you? We got your rent check. We know it's from you. We can see the cutie patootie in there, but it's all got chopped up in the mail. Can you send us another check? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll get one in the mail to you. I just got to get, you know, not a big deal. I'm traveling. I'll get one in the mail to you. And so not a big deal. You know, I'm decent with tech and everything. I, you know, sent a message to Cassandra. I said, hey, there's a check on the printer. Just sign it for me and stick it in the mail. And I got a call from Cassandra that night asking how many months' rent that was for. She's like, please tell me this is for more than 1 month. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Put a stamp on it and stick it in the mail. And it's, you know, what's in our wheelhouse, okay? Dealing with that or knowing how many shirts she has to sell, okay? But I know how many shirts our team can generate to be able to hit that, so it's not a big deal. And it doesn't keep me from sleeping at night. And so my number of what would keep me from sleeping at night and somebody else's number are completely different. But Lord and Taylor's death is based on them not doing that math. And it's not, and it's complicated, but it's not complicated. It's simple stuff. They didn't have the inventory to do the sales they needed to do, and they weren't selling that for the debt they were taking on. So beyond anything else, that's just the simple reality of the situation, and it's sad. It really is. I hate to see these iconic brands die off. I mean, I am sure the intellectual property, the brand, the website will get picked up by somebody, will buy it at auction, and we'll see some reincarnation of it down the road, but it won't be the same. There's just something special about these iconic department stores that have evolved throughout the years, but through bad leadership have done some sad things. So I'm sad about that. Hopefully my run-on talk tonight about what caused that and how I advise especially new store owners is where I have that conversation most often. I mean, I can have that conversation with anybody. I just had it with you, but and it was a much abbreviated one. But new store owners especially, because you have to understand how much you need to do, how many of your widgets you need to sell. Okay, whatever your widget is, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether it's glassware or furniture or actual widgets. Doesn't matter. The widget doesn't matter. The matters is the concept. It matters up here in the head. It matters that you have enough of them, okay, moving through your system at the right price points to be able to sustain your business. There's actually this kid, where is he? Illinois? I'll find an article. There was this great article with this, I want to say he's 12, and he's making pies for $21 a piece. Okay, he's making his signature apple pie. He's a baker, and he really enjoys the baking. He's even admitted he doesn't like the business side of it. But he's making $10 a pie. And he's like, you can't just start a business. This is a 12-year-old perspective. You can't just start a business. And I'll post this article. I'll find it and I'll post it. You can't just, and this is the kid talking, you can't just say, I'm going to have a lemonade stand and sell lemonade and pick a price out of the air and everything else. There's costs, and so $21 for my apple pie may sound a lot to some people. Okay, I researched the market. My cost of goods of just the ingredients are $8 for the premium ingredients I use. He's like, I need to make a profit doing this. It's actually only an $18 pie because the pie plate is $3. And if you return the pie plate, you get a $3 refund. Okay, so he had a whole system. He did all the math. He's like, and I really enjoy the baking and other things. And he talked about how he does the dough and stores it and refrigerates it and does all these things to make these pies. At 12. Okay, and he's like, I really enjoy that side, and whether as I grow up, I'm still a baker or not, I don't know. He's like, but I think at this point, I'm just going to stick, if that is my profession down the road, I'm going to stick to the baking side of it, not the business side of it. I don't want to be in the pie business. That's stressful. And I just really appreciated a 12-year-old's perspective on that and telling his story. It was great. You can learn a lot from a kid, people. A lot from a kid. Okay, for as much as we all think we know as adults, there's lots to learn from a kid. You know what tomorrow is. You know what tomorrow is. It's Self-Care Sunday. We got our recipe of the week. What did I do with it? Sour cream snowball cake, people. Sour cream snowball cake. It'll be posted any minute now to the Narts private Facebook page. But you know what's even better than that? It'll be over to narts.org/resale strong by noon tomorrow. Noon! Who knew? Things move so fast. It's there so keep you organized. It's there so you can share it. You can share it with your neighbors, your friends, and share it with that whole page with anybody in business, because it keeps this whole thing organized. It keeps us all moving forward. And that's what this is all about. We're keeping everybody moving forward. Everybody. We're getting everybody to the other side. Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, lemonade stand, pie baker. I mean, that kid could teach us a lot. It's all there, easily accessible at narts.org/resale strong. I reference it all the time. I share out that page all the time. All the time. I am here at more 8 than ish Eastern every night. More 8 than ish Eastern every night, live in the Narts private Facebook group. That is where you find me, folks. Live in the Narts private Facebook group at more 8-ish than Eastern. More 8 than ish Eastern every night, live in the Narts private Facebook group. have a question between now and then, you just email me, Neil, Neil at ECIstores.com, Neil at ECIstores.com. That's where you find me. Make sure you include your phone number because more often than not, you will get a call back. It won't just get a simple yes or no email back to you. We start this program every night. Every night we start this program with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book. Tonight we are on page 138. Good morning. Use your brains. Use your heart. Use your courage. And click those heels if you need to. Peace out. Our good night tonight is good night. Clicking my heels 3 times. Ladies and gentlemen, there is your graphics. I've used the Wizard of Oz reference in a lot of things. I loved it in the Good Morning, Good Night book. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, tomorrow is Self-Care Sunday. It's a day for taking care of you. Make sure you find some downtime to do that. Take a look at the Self-Care Sunday recipe. It's a great one. You can have your Self-Care Sunday recipe highlighted, your family secret, into the Resale Strong Cookbook. Just email it to me, Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back here tomorrow night, Self-Care Sunday, at more 8 than ish Eastern. More 8 than ish Eastern. But until then, know that you, and most especially you, yes, I see you there, way up in the corner, watching tonight, I see you. You're not alone running this store. I'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. It's fine for me to go fetch some dinner. Have a great night.